What's good, chat? What's good? Oh, my camera is frozen. There we go. Should be good. Alabama coach is a big time hire, as you can see. He was at South Alabama for a couple of seasons. They did beat Oklahoma State last year pretty handedly in his time there. He was at Ole Miss with Mark Richt. A lot of experience, and to get him from being a head coach to come over and be a defensive coordinator is a big time get. Obviously, we know who Freddie Roach is. Alabama fans know who that is. One of the best defensive line coaches in America. I mean, just look at this. He's been an assistant since 2020. He was at Ole Miss. He was at Alabama back in 2015. A lot of experience there. A lot of good D linemen under him. Robert Gillespie, same thing. Running back coach. 2021 to now. A lot of good running backs under him the last couple of seasons. Alabama fans know who these guys are. And for Kalen DeBoer to keep these guys was a big time move for him. Jamarcus Shepard. Washington with Kalen DeBoer coming over to Alabama. A lot of good receivers. As you can see, he was with Rondell Moore at Purdue. Washington State, Mike Leach. Good receivers. Good passing game. Western Kentucky, good passing game. Air Raid. Overall, the staff's very, very good. Very, very good staff. And Courtney Morgan. This is another big time hire. Manager. He's a big reason why Alabama is doing so good in recruiting, and we're going to talk about that later in the video as well. So, let's get into the depth chart here. Depth chart's looking pretty good. A lot of transfers. Obviously, you got a coaching change going on. Yeah, let's get these ads out of here. Yeah, we got Jeremy Bernard, who's projected to be at the X to start. And then we got Caleb Odom, Ryan Williams, all three new guys, 2 freshmen and then a junior transfer. Another new comer is a freshman, Amari Jefferson. And there's Emmanuel Henderson. I was looking for him. So yeah, he got moved to slot. Emmanuel Henderson was a former 5-star running back, who is obviously no longer a running back. He is wide receiver. 2 very fast, explosive receivers for Alabama. Now, Ryan Williams, this is the X factor in this receiving room. One of the best receivers in college football or high school football. He was I think 3-time Alabama Player of the Year. He reclassified, so he most likely would have been a 4-time Alabama High School Player of the Year. Only 3-time. He has all the state records. Reclassified to join this class, and there's rumors he was going to flip to Auburn, but he's at Alabama now. So this is a big time get for them. He's going to have a big impact this year. And if he doesn't, I don't think that's a good sign for him, at least. Maybe these guys are just that good. Kendrick Law and Kobe Prentice, maybe they're just that good. Which, that could always become the case. Then you got Caden Proctor, Tyler Booker, Parker Brailsford, Jaden Roberts, and Elijah Pritchett. This is one of the best offensive lines in college football. From center to left tackle, this trio is unbelievable. The fact that this is real. And he was on one of the best offensive lines out in Washington. Tyler Booker is probably going to be a first-round pick. when it comes to run blocking, he might be the best run blocker in the country. Just go watch that game against Georgia. What he did to Nazir Stackhouse was insane. Former #1 offensive tackle coming out of high school. And he's lived up to the hype so far, stepping in the SEC as a true freshman on a playoff team nonetheless, and did very well at the end of the season. And then Roberts and Pritchett, these guys are the big name. These are players too, so a lot of good things going there. Tight end, CJ Dupree, Josh Cuevas, Robbie Outs, maybe, is that how you say that? And Ty Lockwood. Tight end, bit of a question mark, obviously. Really not a lot of production there. Dupree's definitely going to be the guy, though. I think this is pretty accurate. Hey, they're going to be running the football. We're going to get to that room right now. Should be good. There we go. Yeah, so we got Richard Young, Justice Haynes, and Jay Miller, probably the top 3 running backs for this class. Then Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, 2 freshmen. But yeah, this trio right here, won't find a better one in the SEC. This is an elite trio. Justice Haynes is going to be the workhorse probably. He's like the next Mark Ingram, Trent Richardson type #1 running back. If you read the Alabama practice reports and just watching him last season, you could see the potential there. Richard Young was another highly ranked running back, 5-star running back from South Florida. If he gets the opportunity, he could definitely pass Jay Miller and give them that 1-2 punch of big-time explosive running back to go along with Jalen Milroe. The things Kalen DeBoer can do with this team is pretty spectacular. Like, a lot of options. Remember what he did with Washington last year. Motions, shifts, quick passes to the perimeter, get the ball to your playmakers as quickly as possible. He's got a lot of them. And speaking of guys that he brought from Washington that came with him, Austin Mack, a redshirt freshman. He's like 6'5", 6'6", maybe. He's a big kid. Yeah, 6'6". He's got all the tools. Obviously, he's not going to be the guy this year. We got Jalen Milroe at quarterback, but just for the future. Defense, now, post Nick Saban, they still got dudes. Like, their defense won't drop off at all. Maybe just a little, but I don't expect them to. They still have a lot of players that Nick Saban himself recruited, first of all. And Kane Womack's the defensive coordinator. He's a very good defensive coordinator, very good coach. He's got a lot of players to work with. Let's start here. LT Overton, transfer from Texas A&M. He was part of that 2022 #1 class in America. They got Damon Payne Jr. too, Tim Smith. Like, these guys are projected back. Every other SEC school outside of Georgia, maybe Ole Miss. Like, these are really good players here. Like Keon Keeley. Now, I don't know if I'd have him all the way down here, unless he's somewhere else. No, he's not. Okay, I'd say Keon Keeley would be the starter at Ban. Is that like their Will Anderson type? Cause he's the next dude. Like, he's the next one. He was the #1 edge rusher, 5-star. He should definitely be the starter there, and I assume he will be. So the fact that Overton's going to be his backup is crazy. Jaheim Otis, here's another amazing run stuffer that I don't think played enough for Alabama in the Rose Bowl against Michigan. You could tell the difference when he was on the field and when he was off the field, and I think Nick Saban might have sold just a little bit by not having him on the field. But that's a different story. Nonetheless, Jaheim Otis is back in a big way. Tim Keenan III, another good defensive lineman. Quandarius Robinson, just a freak athlete off the edge. And he's got a lot of depth behind him. Alabama fans especially, they know these names. Quay Russaw, Yanze Pierre. 2 outstanding freshmen that came in last year. They're going to be redshirt freshmen this year. Yep. And then James Smith and Quay Rusall, they were teammates in high school. James Smith, defensive tackle. Quay Rusall, edge rusher. So a lot of things going there. They're very deep. Obviously, you can see they're about 4 deep across the defensive line. At Mike, Deontay Lawson, one of the best linebackers in college football, the leader of this defense. Pairing him with Jihad Campbell. Campbell was a 5-star edge rusher coming out of high school. He moved to middle linebacker, I think last season or the end of 2022. But either way, he stepped in to a bigger role and made the most of it. Jeremiah Alexander, same story. 5-star edge rusher, switched to linebacker. Justin Jefferson, he's a transfer. He's one of the better transfer linebackers that they got. Pearl River Community College. Yeah, he was one of the higher transfer linebackers that they got. Oh, shoot. Gotta go back to the depth chart. Yeah. So they're at least 4 deep at middle linebacker, I'd say. These are just some guys. I don't expect these freshmen to play at all. Now, Quay Rusall was a middle linebacker in high school, so he could definitely get in the mix here. But this is just a very talented room nonetheless. Deontay Lawson, Jihad Campbell, going to be the guys going forward. Deshaun Jones and Keon Sabb, 2 newcomers. Obviously, Keon Sabb, national champ with Michigan last year. He's going to be the leader of the secondary alongside Malachi Moore. And then Damani Jackson, former 5-star #1 corner coming out of high school too. He's a transfer from USC. Now I want to talk about Damani for a second. Damani Jackson was supposed to be that next cornerstone of the USC defense, coming from modern day, track star, fastest player on the team type of guy. Obviously things didn't go as planned with Alex Grinch over at USC. But obviously things can change. So I expect them to change at least. And give me 1 second. Video capture. Give me 1 second. There we go. There we go. What is... There we go. There we go. Alright, we should be good. Alright. There we go. Alright. Where were we? Oh yeah, Demonte Jackson. We were talking about the DBs. Malachi Moore, obviously the leader of the room, but yeah, Demonte Jackson is going to have a lot of expectations. Remember, he committed when Nick Saban was still there. So this is a big-time player. Obviously, Nick Saban took him, and he's a projected starter. Now, Red Morgan, freshman, has gotten a lot of hype in the offseason, spring camp, fall camp, summer workouts. He's been the guy. Same with King Mack. These are guys that probably aren't getting talked about a lot around the country right now, but are definitely names to know. And then Xavier Brown. Where are they at? These freshman DBs are crazy, guys. We got Xavier Brown, Jalen Mbakwe, Xavier Mincy, Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. Like, I think they had 3 5-star here. We can go check. It was something crazy. They had 3 top 4 maybe DBs. Look at this. Jalen Mbakwe, Xavier Brown, and Xavier Mincy at DB. Let's see what they had the composite ranking. Mbakwe, Mincy, Brown. All DB. Paintwood, he is not there anymore. There's Red Morgan. He was only the 294th player, but yeah, look at this. Jalen Mbakwe, number 2 corner. Mincy, number 3 safety. Xavier Brown, number 4. Absolutely loaded freshman DB class for Alabama. A lot to be excited about. And then Devontae Smith, very solid player as well. So overall, the defense, they should be, if I had to put a number on it, I'd say top 3 defense in the SEC is what I'd put them at. Obviously, Georgia's going to be 1 or 2, you'd expect, just with all the carryover from the staff and players coming back. Now let's get to the schedule. See what Alabama's got. Again, you go to 2024. Here we go. So they start out with Western Kentucky, USF are the first 2 games. Western Kentucky, probably a win. USF, that was a game that was 10-3 last year, I believe, or 13-3. That was a game that got delayed. It was storming. Jalen Milroe did not play. They had Tyler Buckner play that game. Nonetheless, they still won. At Wisconsin. Now, this is a noon game, so I think that's a very big plus. Now, if this was a night game, maybe Wisconsin would have a chance. I don't think Wisconsin has a chance in this game. Alabama's defense is going to be really good, and then Tyler Van Dyke against this defense, I'm not sure how that's going to go. And we don't really know what Wisconsin's going to be, to be honest. We know Alabama's going to be good. We don't know what they're going to look like, but we know they're going to be good. Wisconsin, we don't know what they're going to look like this year. We don't know if Tyler Van Dyke's going to become old Tyler Van Dyke, or it's going to be the Tyler Van Dyke that we saw at Miami. Phil Longo, obviously he's a good offensive coordinator there. They could have a good offense. We're just going to have to wait and see, though. Then they have a bye before Georgia. This is big time. If you could have a bye anywhere, this is probably where you want it. Obviously, you get one before LSU as well, but having a bye before Georgia, and then Saturday Night Football, 7:30 on ABC, Saturday, September 28th. This is going to be one of the games of the year. Now, do I think Alabama's going to win? Possibly they could. They're home. If this was at Georgia at night, I'd definitely give Georgia the edge. Hey, but they're home. That defense that we just went over, that's going to be a legit defense. Now, Jalen Milroe and the receivers. A lot of unproven receivers that really haven't had a lot of production. Jeremy Bernard did not start on Washington last year. He did not start. He got buried on the depth chart, obviously behind very good players, but he did not start. And he's probably going to be the number 1 option to start the year for Alabama. Kendrick Law, Kobe Prentice, guys like that could step in. But we're just going to have to wait and see what the receiver room looks like, because we know Georgia's defense is going to be legit. And if Alabama has a good passing game, which Wisconsin's going to be a good test for that. They could easily beat Georgia. At Vanderbilt, South Carolina, I'd say 2 wins there. Those are games that defense could literally win. Like, the offense doesn't have to go out and score 20. They shouldn't have to. I mean, they're home against South Carolina. That's a big boost. It's during the day. If it was at night, I'd definitely say Alabama by maybe 2 or 3 touchdowns. Nonetheless, I think they win that game. Now at Tennessee, 3rd Saturday in October, rivalry game. This is probably going to be, the biggest road test. Let's see. Neyland. Okay, Tiger Stadium or Neyland. Those are going to be the 2 hardest road games of the season. Now, if Nico is the real deal for Tennessee at quarterback, this could be a very challenging game for them. This is going to be the first team that can really threaten the secondary for Alabama, in my opinion, down the field. Georgia's going to get passing yards. But I don't think Georgia's going to hit the down the field shots against Alabama, just because they're not going to have that, like, the athletic advantage over them that Tennessee could. Tennessee has a lot of speed. They're going to space them out like we saw 2 years ago when Alabama went in there. Jalen Hyatt, Hendon Hooker. We could have the very same thing happen here. So that's definitely a toss-up game. Missouri, you're home for this. And how good's Brady Cook going to be when he has to go to Bryant-Denny Stadium and play a very good defense? We know Luther Burden's good. We know Missouri's going to have a very solid defense. I'd give Alabama the edge in this one. Nonetheless, it's going to be a pretty tough game. At LSU, Garrett Nussmeier. This is coming off a bye. Same thing as the Georgia situation. When would you want a bye week? Before LSU. Now you play Georgia this year. You want one before them, and you got both. At LSU. If this game's at night in Baton Rouge, this could very well be their first loss if they beat Georgia. I think this is more losable than Tennessee and Missouri. And I think most Alabama fans would agree, just one, because it's LSU. Now, the weakness that I talked about Alabama's offense, the receiver rooms, or the receivers being inexperienced, and that whole room not having a lot of production, like, that shouldn't matter this game. LSU has a lot of question marks at DB. We don't know what LSU's defense is going to be. We know they got good players. We know they got a few very good players, future NFL guys, in the front 7. We don't know about the secondary, though. And we saw Alabama last year torch the secondary. That could very well happen again. Mercer after LSU. I mean, that's basically a 3rd bye week. Starters should be out after the 1st quarter, you'd think. 1st or 2nd quarter. At Oklahoma, this is a fun game. This is a very fun game. We get the new SEC school hosting Alabama, 2nd to last week before the Iron Bowl. If I had to put a prediction in for this game, I'd definitely choose Alabama to win. I think, like, we just don't know who Oklahoma's going to be. Obviously, by the time this game is played, we're going to know who they are. We're going to know who they are on November 23rd. We're going to know if Jackson Arnold's the real deal or not. Now, if he is, and Oklahoma, let's say they're 10-1 coming in this game. Or 9-1. They're 9-1 coming into this game, and Alabama, let's say, is 9-1 as well. Oklahoma could be favored. I mean, heck, Oklahoma doesn't have an easy schedule either. If they're 9-1, that means that they beat a lot of good teams. Put a prediction in, though. Right now, as it's July 31st. Obviously, a long ways to go until this game, but I'd choose Alabama to win. And I'd also choose them to win the Iron Bowl this year. I just don't think Auburn's going to be able to beat Alabama and Bryant-Denny. They had every opportunity last year. They allowed just a prayer of a throw on, what was it, 4th and 20? 4th and 20 something. They should have won the game. Let's just put it like that. Auburn should have won last year. They didn't. They blew the opportunity. And I just don't see them winning this year. Especially with Peyton Thorne at quarterback. I just don't see it happen. Especially if this is... It says 8 p.m. Eastern here. Because you got to remember, ESPN has the rights to the SEC. So this 3:30 slot's never guaranteed it anymore for the SEC on CBS. That's no longer a thing. So we could have a night Iron Bowl. Auburn at Alabama. 8 p.m. And then obviously the SEC championship. You'd assume Alabama gets there. If they beat Georgia, if they beat LSU. I'd say 10-2 is realistic for Alabama this year. I don't know what the over/under for their win total is. It's probably 9.5 or 10.5. Yeah, I think 10-2 is realistic. I think they very well could beat Georgia or LSU. Heck, if you beat both, 11-1 or 12-0 is possible. You'd beat the two hardest teams on there, probably the two hardest games. Tennessee at Neyland. Obviously, that's probably going to be their next biggest challenge. But yeah, you get Missouri at home. I think that's big. And depending on what Oklahoma is, that could be a lot easier game than we assume right now. Oklahoma could have a rough season. Maybe Jackson Arnold isn't ready for this challenge, and Alabama wins. So yeah, I think 10-2 is realistic. All right, let's get into the 2025 recruiting class. Just a quick recruiting update for Alabama. Number 2 class right now. What do you expect? Well, I think a lot of non-Alabama fans maybe expected not to be top 5, not to be top 10 after Saban left. But people who know who Kalen DeBoer is, what the staff's like, and Courtney Morgan, I'll go back to that. Here he is right here. General manager. This is big time, especially with NIL in college going similar to the NFL. Very similar. It's big time to have good personnel, good support staff. Alabama has that. They're very aligned in what they do, and it's paying off in recruiting right now. As you can see, they got Ty Hayward. He's a number 2 offensive tackle from Denton, Texas. Caleb Cunningham, one of the better receivers. Keelan Russell. This guy won the Elite 11. The real deal. I think 247 has him as the number 2 quarterback. Number 3 quarterback. So 247 Sports thinks Keelan Russell's the number 3 quarterback, and I'm not going to argue with them. He's behind, who would it be? Bryce Underwood and Tavian St. Clair probably. If I can check. Yeah, Bryce Underwood, and then Tavian St. Clair, Ohio State commit. I don't know why it's not showing up, but he is committed to Ohio State. There we go. Yeah, Keelan Russell from Duncanville. He plays with DeCorian Moore, who's the number 1 receiver in the class. He's got all the tools, man. He's going to be a terrific college player. And he's got his offensive tackle, number 2 offensive tackle in the class. He's got a 5-star receiver. Let's just stick with offense real quick. We got Anthony Rogers, the 6th best running back. Look at the O-line. 3 in a row right here. Micah DeBose, Jackson Lloyd, Michael Carroll. Caleb Edwards, one of the better tight ends. He's from California, too. Lazare Brooks, another 4-star receiver. And then another offensive tackle. So offensive class is very solid. Defensive-wise, we got Dejon Lee, California. Kalen DeBoer is keeping the West Coast ties, as you can see. A lot of California kids on the list. Chuck McDonald, another one. Mater Dei. This is a big-time get. A lot of schools out west, they wanted him. USC, UCLA, Oregon. A lot of big-time programs out there wanted him. And he traveled across the country. Justin Hill's another guy. Ohio kid going to Alabama. And Ohio State really wanted him. What does that say about the staff? Legit staff. Big time get there as well. Dawson Merritt, linebacker. He's from Kansas. 13th linebacker. Very solid. Pair him with Darryl Johnson from Georgia. Hey, anytime you get a 5-star linebacker from Georgia, you steal one from Kirby. It counts as 2. Because 1, he's on your team. 2, you don't have to play against him. Linebacker, Jaden Harmon. So they got 3 linebackers. 3 of the top 18 linebackers. Oh, 4. Abdul Sanders Jr., another Mater Dei. California, man. Luke Metz, another linebacker. Mill Creek, this is where Caleb Downs went to high school. In Georgia. Steal a guy from Georgia, you don't have to play against him if he's on Kirby's team. Now, Alabama, hey, they're not done. I know for sure they're not done. Jared Smith, one of the better edge rushers. He's from Alabama. No crystal balls yet. Now, obviously, Alabama's probably going to be in the race for him until the end. Now, even though it looks like Auburn's the favorite here. Heck, what if Alabama goes to the playoff, finishes, what, top 4? They're going to be able to sell. What if they beat Auburn? You know, we got a long ways till signing day is what I'm trying to say. And he commits on August 3rd. That's a big day, by the way. There's a lot of commits on August 3rd. Julian Lewis, he's out of the picture. Sanders, Griffin, he's out of the picture, out of the picture, out of the picture. Let's see. Juwan Gaston, I think he's Georgia. Georgia and Oregon, yeah. I'm not sure. Oakley. So this is Texas, Alabama right here. Yeah. This is their biggest receiver target left. And he's got a Texas prediction, 7-1. He commits on August 7th. This is gonna be one that goes until signing day. This isn't gonna end when he commits on August 7th. At least in my opinion. I mean, just look at these schools. Like A&M, you know they're not gonna give up. LSU. Actually, I want to hit on this real quick. So let me. Holman Wiggins. Look at this guy. Tell me he doesn't know how to recruit guys that Alabama wants. All these guys are on Alabama now, or he recruited to Alabama. All of these guys. Yeah, A&M's going to be in that for a while. Lockett. I think Alabama should stay in that race until the end. Here's the guy who committed a calendar. He decommitted from Ole Miss, I believe, not too long ago. Yeah, June 28th, he decommitted. And he thought he was going to commit to Alabama right after the decommitment. Obviously, that did not happen. But as you can see, Alabama is the favorite. So they're going to add another, well, 247 thinks he's the best running back. He's the number 2 running back in the composite. So when I said they aren't done, they got a lot of big-time players left. About 3 or 4 5-stars still on their radar. And I believe that's it. Andrew Marsh. He's a Michigan guy. Winston Watkins. This is an interesting one right here. He's a very highly rated player when the class started. Decommitted from Colorado. Yeah, his recruitment slowed down. I don't know if Alabama would even take him, to be honest. Yeah. I don't know why they would. They got a lot of receivers, and they got Lockett still on the board. Other than those guys, Boateng, I should say Warm. He's definitely in the picture there. He might be committing soon. No? Yeah, he's got a top 4 going right now, visit-wise. Anything can happen during the season, though. Alabama's probably going to stay in the picture there. He's more of an edge rusher. Here, let me rephrase that. He's projected to be an edge rusher at the next level. Ty Jackson from Florida. It says they're going after him. He visited. But hey, they have so many linebackers in this class. And Florida State, home school. So, we'll see how that one goes. Savion Hardy. I think. Now, personally, I think they should go after an edge rusher. Let me see their class. They got Justin Hill. Why I say that is they lost Zion Grady. Zion Grady was a big-time player for them in this class. Let's see. Let's go to edge. Yeah, they got to get Jared Smith. That should be the #1 priority. Yeah, see, here's Grady. He decommitted and went to Ohio State when Saban left. And they missed out on Nazir Wyatt. I want to check his visits. Okay, so did he not take visits to Alabama? He had to have, right? It doesn't say. He definitely took unofficial visits. No official. Maybe he's saving more game day visits, maybe. Hey, he could be at that Georgia game. You know, that could be a big turning point. If they get him on campus for like the Georgia game or the Missouri game and Alabama wins, it could be one of those weekends that we always talk about on signing day for certain schools. Like, oh, they got this big win, and then the rest is history for that recruitment, you know. All right, that's gonna do it for Alabama. All right, so we're good for Alabama. Let's Alright. Then we're going to hit on Clemson. Give a little preview for them. Where are we at? Team, coaches, staff. Obviously, at Dabo, yeah. Alright, that'll work. 2024. Alabama. Clemson. Hey, we got Clemson, Georgia, week 1, guys. Feels like 2021 and 2013 all over again. And then we'll go to Clemson here. ACC. All right. All right, let's get into Clemson. We got Dabo. Obviously, head coach Garrett Riley. A little bit of an underwhelming season last year for him. Remember, he came over from TCU. We got Tyler Grisham. DJ Spiller, running backs coach. Very excited. Matt Luke. This guy looks really familiar. Where's he at? Where's he from? Where's he from? Georgia. There it is. That's why I've seen him before. Georgia. Former Georgia O-line coach. Defense, we got some dudes here. Wes Goodwin, Nick Eason, Chris Rumpf. A lot of good coaches here. Nick Eason, defensive line coach. He knows how to recruit. Actually, let's go take a look at that. Now we're talking about it. All-time commits. There you go, guys. We got Peter Woods, who's on the team this year. Bryce Davis, on the team this year. Isaiah Campbell, yep. A lot of good players for multiple top 100 players. One of the better D-line coaches. All right, let's go through the depth chart here for Clemson. Now, this looks a lot different than previous teams we've done for team previews. Not a lot of orange on offense. Obviously, Dabo's not a big-time guy on transfers, and as you can see, all these are freshmen. No transfers. Then we got Adam Randall, Antonio Williams, Tyler Brown, TJ Moore, Bryant Wesco Jr. This is a big-time player, guys. Big-time recruit for them. Go see what you can go look at that 2024 class real quick. Right here, number 11 receiver by 247. In the composite, he is 13th, but 48 national. And then TJ Moore, another five-star receiver, 5th. Where's he at on here? Yeah, so they're both in the 2 deep. And if I had to guess, they'll finish higher than that. Maybe by week 4, week 5, Clemson needs playmakers. Cade Klubnik, he needs help. A lot of help. Adam Randall, he's going to be the guy that stays there, though. No doubt in that. He's going to stay in the starting spot. Tristan Lay, very solid left tackle. Blake Miller as well. Now, this is an experienced offensive line. Junior, senior, junior, grad, junior. Very, very positive. Harris Sewell. He was a big time recruit as well. Tight end Jake Brainingstool, one of the better tight ends in the ACC. Cade, obviously we know who Cade Klubnik is. He needs to have a big season, and I expect him to. I think Garrett Riley last year, just figuring things out. Now hopefully you have some weapons. Those two freshmen we just talked about, obviously they're freshmen. You don't want to rely on them. But if they can play, they can play. Got to get them in the game. Phil Maffa, another good running back, one of the better ones in the ACC, and Jay Haynes. Now after him, there's a lot of unproven guys. As you can see, 3 freshmen and a sophomore, redshirt freshman. So Phil Maffa, he might get 300 plus carries this year, just depending on how the season goes. We got TJ Parker, Demont Capehart, Peyton Page, and Peter Woods. So Page and Woods, studs on the D-line. Absolute studs. Peter Woods could be first team All-ACC at the end of the season. He stepped in as a freshman last year. It didn't take him long to get the starting job. Barrett Carter, once again, probably first team All-ACC. Kobe McLeod, very good player. But here's the dude right here. You probably saw him when I clicked on the class. Sammy Brown, number 2 linebacker from Jefferson, Georgia. Dabo got him, and Kirby Smart really wanted him. I should say something. Now Kirby, he got his linebackers of his own. We'll get to them in the Georgia video. But Sammy Brown, he's a beast. Running back, linebacker, he can do it all. I expect him to have a big impact on this defense. Same with Wade right here. And Jamal Anderson. They got a lot of guys that can... We go watch Clemson last year. These guys right here. Carter. Terrell. Maybe not big time games, but games that they stepped in, like blowouts. These young guys. Anderson. Very good players. RJ Mickens, Kylan Griffin, Jaden Lucas. Jaden Lucas, Clemson fans will say the same thing. It's time. It's time to see it from him. I'm pretty sure he was part of that 2022 class. Yep. Fifth best corner. It's time for him. Venables, Tyler Venables. He's still there. I don't want to botch his name. Is it I know who this guy is. I just don't know how to say his name. Sherrod Koval Jr. We'll go with that. Sherrod. Clemson's going to have a good defense. Let's just say that. Clemson's going to have a very, very good defense. Let's see. Any guys that I'm missing that are hiding down there? I don't think so. Yeah, they got the Bentinker, but they're good at tight end. Like, he's not even on here, man. They're loaded at tight end. So I think it's a good thing. They need as many weapons as possible for Cade Klubnik. Now, schedule-wise, hey, Clemson got an easy schedule this year, man. Games are winnable. The hardest games are very winnable. Maybe besides the first one. I'm just going to be honest. Personally, Cade Klubnik might have a bad day on August 31st. Okay. We saw what happened when Oregon, my Ducks, when we went into Mercedes-Benz on opening week and played Georgia and Atlanta. It did not go well. Georgia in week 1 is just like Alabama under Nick Saban in week 1. Neutral site game. All offseason to get ready. It's just not a good formula. App State, you're going to get a bounce back win there. Then you got to bye before NC State. But you're home. That's why I said the hardest games are winnable. NC State at home. Now you hope this is a night game. You hope you get Death Valley rocking. All that good stuff. Get the entrance. Let the defense just fly around. Hopefully Cade doesn't have to go winning the game because NC State's going to have a good defense. That's just the reality. Clemson's going to have to play outstanding defense and make this a low-scoring game. Stanford. Once again, you're home. Stanford's coming across the country Well, this could be a welcome to the ACC moment right here. Clemson has the opportunity to just blow the doors off Stanford. This could be one of those 38-10 games, 38-3. At Florida State. This is probably the ACC game of the year. Because I think these are the two favorites in the media poll that came out today for the ACC. Nonetheless, I think Clemson could very well win this game. DJU, we know he is at quarterback. Now, he's going to have Mike Norvell that's going to maximize his potential. Like, I don't think he's had an offensive coordinator who's been able to do that. John Smith, he's a good quarterback coach, but it was Oregon State. Good offensive line. They're a run-first team. Not a lot of weapons on the outside. This is Florida State, a whole new team from last year, the team that almost made the playoff. This could be a low-scoring game. Now it's at Doak Campbell Stadium. It's a little bit harder. At Wake Forest, win. Virginia should be a win. Louisville, coming off a bye, won. So your two hardest games in the ACC are coming off a bye and your home. Florida State probably going to be harder than Louisville. But let's just say the two hardest home games are coming off a bye, and obviously you're home. Louisville, I don't know if they're going to be able to score. We saw Louisville against Florida State in the ACC championship with everything on the line for them, and they forgot how to play offense. So I don't know how you can say Louisville's going to go in the Death Valley and win. I mean, obviously they have a chance, but I'd say Clemson is favored. At Virginia Tech, now a trap game. Out of these last games on here, this is the trap game. If this is the night game, that environment's going to be crazy. Especially if Clemson wins, what is that, 7 in a row? You're sitting at 7-1, maybe top 10. At Virginia Tech at night, that's a losable game. At Pitt, I think they win that. Citadel, what are we doing? Citadel, I mean, that's going to be a blowout. South Carolina, rivalry game. This could be a game. This could be a very good game. Once again, Clemson is home, though. This will probably be an afternoon game. Obviously, you want it at night. And that does matter. I'm a believer in, night games matter. The environment matters. For certain teams, that is. Certain teams play just a lot better at night. Now, expectations. I think 10-2 is a very good possibility. I think there's one definite loss on here, and I think that's Georgia. I think most Clemson fans would agree. Now, you just have to be realistic. Obviously, Clemson has a chance. They have a chance in that game. It's Clemson. They're top-tier program. But not getting transfers. Dabo refusing to take transfers. Refusing to take big-time difference makers. That could come back to bite him. Especially in a game against Georgia that has gone in the transfer portal. Has recruited at an elite level. And is fielding probably the best roster in the sport. NC State, that's losable. Louisville and Florida State. I think those are the three games. But hey, I think they win 2. So I think 10-2 is a very reasonable expectation. And I think Clemson fans should expect them to go 10-2. I think 9-3 would be a little bit of a disappointment, especially with Cade Klubnik at quarterback, a guy who Clemson fans have been waiting on for a while now. You know what I'm saying? So, let's hit on the recruiting class just real quick. Then you go to 2025. All right. So they're 12th. Let me see something. All right. So they're 12th overall right now. I got D-line, safety, edge, D-line, edge. Wow. I see a common theme here for Clemson, guys. Bryce Davis, Ari Watford. A lot of East Coast guys. North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, Georgia, North Carolina. Virginia, Florida, Georgia, South Carolina. East Coast heavy class. First off, prioritizing the defensive front. And what I have to say about that, we've seen Dabo do this before. We've seen him do this before when people were questioning whether Dabo is the guy for Clemson. Could he be the guy? What he did, he just went and got 4 to 5 NFL defensive linemen in back-to-back classes, developed them, and then ultimately won 2 national titles with probably the first or second best defensive line in those respective seasons. It was Clemson and Alabama for best D-line every single season. That 2018 Clemson D-line that Dabo built, who they had? They had Christian, what's his name? Christian Williams, Dexter Lawrence, Austin Bryant, and I can't remember the other D end. Oh, Cleveland Farrell, Christian Wilkins, Dexter Lawrence in the middle, and then Bryant and Farrell on the edge. And then they had Shaq Lawson before that, before those guys. He was a couple years before them. And it's looking like he's trying to do the same thing here. Now, obviously, these guys aren't as big. Like 6'4", 260. Like, Christian Wilkins and Dexter Lawrence were big. Cleveland Farrell was big. Big NFL first-round D lineman. Gideon Davidson, Liberty Christian Academy, Virginia. 3rd best running back. That's a big-time get right there. We just talked about it on their depth chart. Behind Maffa, who's the guy? We're going to have to see if they even have a guy. Like, it could be Maffa being a workhorse. Braden Jacobs from Buford, Georgia. That's a big-time high school. 6'7", 310. This is a player. Big-time player. Yeah, they need more difference makers, man. Like, this is a problem. This is your only receiver. We saw what they did last year. You gotta stack those guys. You gotta stack them at receiver. And they missed out on McIntyre. He was a big-time quarterback target for them. And, yeah, they probably dropped out of the David Sanders sweepstakes. See, that Cristobal one, that's just old. Yeah, March 27th. These are top schools for him. It's going to be Tennessee, Nebraska. Ohio State's probably running 3rd right now. Yeah, I don't know why they dropped out of that race. He's from North Carolina. They're right there. Josh Petty. Yeah. Hey, offensive line, though. He got 3 tackles, but the 2 top targets dropped out a little too soon, in my opinion. Edge. Yeah, they're set there. Defensive line. Yeah, they're set. Like what we talked about. They're trying to build it from the front. Corner. A lot of their targets are committed elsewhere, man. You got Tay Harris. Alright, so they got a safety. That's a plus. Jordan Young. Alright, they're in it for him. Now, he's going to be projected to play defense. So that does not fix the problem. Let's go see receiver. This is a problem. 5 offers. And they missed out on their biggest target. And they're not trending right now for Dylan Alford from Alabama. Now, he is warm, but he has predictions to Ole Miss. Let's see when these are from. And nonetheless, he's the 57th. Yeah. July. Yeah. He's going to go to Ole Miss probably. And they're not going to take transfers either. Like, Cade Klubnik was a 5-star quarterback, a big-time high school prospect. But he just needs guys, man. We know this guy. We know he's a guy. We know he's a dude. I wish they had their stats on here. Here, we can go to reference. Here we go. He's going to be a dude this year. He, like 13 games, 12 games, 32 combined receptions. Got to give him the ball. We know he's good. Got to find a way to give him the ball. Got to get these difference makers out here. See Tyler Brown. Just a production, man. Tyler Brown. I got you, Clemson. Here we go. There we go. 531 yards, 4 touchdowns, 52 catches. Get these guys the ball, man. Adam Randall. I remember when this guy was coming out of high school. He was a high prospect, if I remember correctly. I remember following his recruitment. Unless I'm thinking of someone else. I swear it was him. Let's see, in the composite. Yeah, 17th receiver. This is a big-time player, guys. Gotta find ways to get playmakers the ball. Who else is over here? We got Antonio Williams. Pretty solid offer list. Yeah, I remember following his recruitment. There you go. Now he only played 5 games last year. 2 touchdowns. Just gotta get these guys the ball. They're players. Now after them, heck, I don't know what to tell you. We know what these two are. We don't know what these guys are. Adam Randall, if he has a good season, he could be gone. You got now Williams could leave too after. I don't think he will. He's a redshirt sophomore. He could leave. I don't think he will though. Tyler Brown, pretty good player. DJ Moore, Bryant Wesco. Yeah, let's see. I just want to see something real quick. We got 1 tight end. Naheem Alford. Okay. And he's going to Ole Miss and Jordan Young. I know. Is he the safety? Yeah, he's the safety. So Clemson doesn't have a lot of room to grow this class. And what are they sitting at now? I think 12th. Yeah, they're 12th now. Not a lot of room to go forward either. Hey, 10-2 season though. Get in the playoffs, see what happens. Maybe push for a top 10 class. Maybe go for some guys that are committed elsewhere that you were prioritizing. But yeah, I think Dabo, not going to the transfer portal is also going to hurt recruiting just a little bit. Because they only have 15 guys. And why I say it's going to hurt recruiting, because you have to get a lot of guys if you're not going to use the transfer portal. Because you're hoping, if you don't take a lot of guys, you're relying on those few guys not being bust for all of them to pan out, because you need depth. To win a title, it's going to be 16, 17 games, a very long season. You need a lot of guys to play. No transfer portal. You're going to have to build through recruiting. And more quality is not always going to equal good quantity. Mass quantity is not always going to meet good quality of players. But yeah, nonetheless, 10-2 season, I think, for Clemson. Nothing to be ashamed of. All right, let's get over to Ole Miss. Lane Kiffin, my guy. See what's going on. We're gonna go to Ole Miss. Ole Miss, Ole Miss, Ole Miss. That's probably Mississippi, isn't it? There we go. All good, all good. Ole Miss. Ole Miss. For all of you that watch this video when it comes out, if you're a fan of these teams, I'd be more than welcome for you to join the live or talk in Discord about these teams. But I'm always open to educate myself too about these teams. Know as much as possible about them. So Alabama, Clemson, Ole Miss fans, if I missed something or maybe missed a guy that's getting a lot of hype or got a lot of hype in spring or getting a lot of hype now in fall, I'll be more than welcome to talk. Goes for all three of the schools. What are we doing? We need Ole Miss's schedule. There we go. All right. I mean, seriously? What is this? Alright. Let's go over that depth chart. Or I guess let's hit on the coaching staff first. Let's see. Pete Golden. Good old Pete Golden. The Saban guy. Lane's always getting Saban's leftovers and the coaching staff. Let's see if I recognize any of these names. Who's Randall Joyner? Where's he been? Oh, so he's been there a couple seasons. And they've had a really good D-line. They got some good guys in the portal too, man. They got some real good players. All right, this is a very solid depth chart here. This is one of the better rosters in the sport. Lane Kiffin is cooking, guys. He is cooking. All right, Trey Harris. Dog. Absolute dog, man. He's going to be their #1 receiver. Jordan Watkins. I'm going to have to get the stats ready for these guys. Because I know these guys are... I know Watkins is going to be a real good player for them. South Carolina transfer. Oh, Antoine. He was a big-time transfer portal guy. He's one of the higher transfer guys in the portal. Especially receiver. How do I spell that? Antoine Wells Jr. Nine 900 yards in 2022. I spell that right? Oh, it is WAN. Yeah, 2 years ago. Big time player. Jordan Watkins. This is a receiving core. A lot of good players. Look at the difference between this and Clemson. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 transfer receivers. Lane knows what he's doing. And he's not wasting a quarterback. He's not wasting Jackson Dart. He's going to get guys to get the ball to him. Offensive line, protect him. Senior, junior, transfer, sophomore. Senior transfer. I can step in probably anywhere. Let's see. Caden Prescorn, one of the better tight ends in the conference. Taquan Wright, where is this guy from? Virginia Tech. Do not know who that is. Surprisingly. If he transferred to Ole Miss, he's probably pretty good, right? Oh, shoot. There we go. Jackson Dart, we know who he is. Walker Howard. Good, very good quarterback room. J Maddox. That's one to see. Guys, I always go by the composite for recruiting. I never go just by 247. I think the more people's opinions you have, the better. Still 23rd. He's from Mississippi. All right. Offense, we know what the offense is going to be. This is going to be fast-paced, probably a primary run team, but now they have dudes outside. You lose Quinshawn Judkins, but we know what Ulysses Bentley is. One of the better running backs in the conference. He's a workhorse type of guy, but he's not going to have to be. They got Parrish. I know he's from Miami. Rashad Amos. Miami, Ohio. Honestly, I wish I had stats here. Does not have the stats right there. So, good running back room. You're probably not going to see the amount of carries go to one guy like we saw with Judkins last year. Yeah, offense is going to be one of the better ones in the SEC. Defensive line. Transfer portal. Transfer portal, guys. Now, Tyler Barron is not here. He decommitted, and I think he went to Louisville. I'll say would have had him. But hey, this guy right here, Walter Nolan. Diehard college football fans out there, you know who this guy is. And if you don't know who he is by now, you're going to know probably in a month. Number 1 player in the 2022 class. Number 1 D lineman. Number 1 D lineman in the portal. Everyone wanted him when he entered the portal, but he cut his list down to, what, 2 or 3 as soon as he entered, and Ole Miss entered the race. NIL. They offered playing time. They got their guy, and they got Princely from Florida. I'm not going to try, I don't want to butcher his last name. But this duo, just these two guys. I'm not going to talk about all these other really good players. Jared Ivey. Big time player. I keep forgetting stats aren't there. Man, they got Tyler Barron too. There we go. 11.5 tackles for loss. You watch Ole Miss last year. Defensive line. Very good. Very good, and they just got better. Chris Paul Jr. Chris Paul Jr., huh? Yeah, Arkansas lost a lot of guys. He's projected to start. TJ Dudley. Been waiting on him. I followed his recruitment heavily. Obviously, Oregon was involved. He was an Oregon commit at one point, so I was involved with that. You can see if he's going to step up this year. Got Kari Coleman. Now, was he their linebacker last year? Let's see. Did I butcher that name? Khari. Oh, there we go. 48 tackles. Wow. He's had some good seasons in college. 10 tackles for loss, 15 tackles for loss. This is a good defense. Dre Amos, we know who he is. Penn State, right? No, Alabama. That's Alabama Amos. Oh, I forgot he left. Lawrence Key. Oklahoma. I meant Key Lawrence. Lawrence Key. Isaiah Hamilton. Brandon Turnage. Tennessee. I didn't know he was at Alabama before. I remember him on the 2022 Tennessee team. Isaiah Hamilton, Louis Moore. Now, I don't know a lot of these guys. Secondary. We know we got Trey Amos. He's going to be good. Brandon Turnage, we know he's going to be good. Let's see John Sanders Jr. He's going to be, what, a safety for them? There we go. Pretty good tackles. 3 picks, 2 picks, 3 picks. He's from Miami, Ohio. In his first year at Ole Miss, last year 3 picks. All right. Hey, the secondary just needs to be decent. Decent. Nothing special. You don't need to try to be all world secondary with this front four with a good 3 deep back there. Like, let's just say 8. And I almost forgot an absolute stud. Suntarine Perkins, guys. 5-star linebacker. Absolute dog. Let's actually go see. I'm pretty sure he was the number 2 linebacker. Because that was a 2023. 2023 class. 247 had number 3. He was number 1 in the composite. Alabama and Ole Miss got him. He was with Anthony Hill and Raylan Wilson, that's right. And CJ Allen. This is that linebacker class, yep. For him to be number 1 with these two, my goodness. Specimens. This linebacker class is crazy. Perkins, who do they have above him? They have him at edge rusher. Okay, so is he going to go back and forth then? I know he went back and forth last year. I don't know if I'd play him at edge. You got edge guys. Heck, last name Perkins, number 4. I know someone. You know, I know someone. Yeah, that's probably pretty good for the depth chart. Now, first 4 games, quick glance, they're going to be 4-0. I mean, Wake Forest is your hardest game. And I don't know if that's going to be a hard game. Kentucky, is Kentucky going to be able to score? Shoot, they got Brock Vandegrift from Georgia. They got a quarterback. But Ole Miss, you're home. That defense, legit. Like, the defense is going to be legit. Run first team. You're probably gonna start 6-0 here. I'd choose them to beat South Carolina. This could be your first loss, but hey, this is gonna be a really good game. Ole Miss will probably be favored, especially starting 6-0. Ole Miss might be top 5 at this point in the season. This is part of that loaded weekend, October 12th. Like, this could be the nightcap to an amazing day. Bye week, we got Oklahoma after. You're home for that too. At Arkansas, that's a tough game. And then you're home for Georgia. Now I say this is a hard game because it's at Arkansas. And just weird things could happen. And it's in between Oklahoma and Georgia. Now, would I pick Ole Miss to lose? No. Oh, hey, Grant. First live chat there. What's up, boss? Alright. You got Georgia at home. Last year, Georgia ran all over them. Just bullied them. Worn them out. That's going to be a different story this year. Especially with this defensive line. And then they got a bye week before you travel to Florida and then finish it off with Mississippi State. Alright, so possible losses. I can't pick them to lose to Kentucky. Or even say they have a chance of losing to them. At LSU, maybe. Definitely a possibility. But I think they're going to be favored. I think they'll be favored against Oklahoma. Definitely underdog at Georgia. Or against Georgia. Even though you're home. What game is that? It'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, you could be 9-0. 9-0. Headed into that game against Georgia. Everything on the table. Everything on the line. You're home. If you get 8 p.m. Eastern kickoff, this would be the biggest game in Lane Kiffin's coaching career. 9-0 against Georgia. I don't know if Georgia would be number 1, but at Florida, then Mississippi State. 11-1 is a possibility with this schedule. I think if you beat LSU, you can win any game then. If you go to Baton Rouge and beat them. So, I think 11-1. Now, I wouldn't bet on them to go 11-1. Maybe 10-2, but definitely a possibility to go 11-1. All right, let's hit on this recruiting class real quick. So we need a 2025 class. All right, Lane, we're sitting at 45th. That is not good, man. Only 13 commits, though. Hopefully they got a ways to go. And I mean, like, hopefully a lot of their guys aren't committed. Even though we're getting late. Late in the summer. Common theme here, Mississippi and Florida. Okay, nothing wrong with that. We need to see who they got left. They're part of Jared Smith. We talked about him with Alabama. I'd say Ole Miss needs him more. Wait, did they have a quarterback? Deuce Knight is their #1 target. They don't have a quarterback. That is not good. All right, let's see. High choice. They're in it for Watkins. I know that. I'm just gonna go through by. I'm gonna go by offers to see the quarterbacks that they could still go after. Yeah, a lot of their guys are already. Yeah, it's not looking good. Hey, unlike Clemson though, I'm just gonna go back to what I was saying about Clemson. Ole Miss isn't relying on recruiting as much. They're the opposite of what Dabo's doing. They're willing to go into the transfer portal and get their needs, as we saw. If we go to 2024, check out these commits down here. Look at this right here. #1 transfer. #1 transfer rank. 24 transfers taken compared to 20 high school. Look at these players. You're getting guys from Miami, Tennessee, LSU, Michigan, Washington, Alabama, A&M, Florida, Oklahoma, Arkansas. You're getting guys from everywhere. Big time schools. Guys that are going to step in and be difference makers from the get-go. So there's not much to worry about with recruiting for Ole Miss. Now, do you want to be 45th? Obviously not. No one ever wants to be 45th in recruiting. But this number over here, the transfer rank, will probably be in the top 5. I'd assume so. Especially if they have the season that me and many Ole Miss fans expect, they could definitely finish in the top 5. And I think that's going to do it for Ole Miss. Yeah, I think 10-2. And that's probably going to do it for team previews. Now, I might switch over to the game. But I might have to restart my stream. Just because the video quality, I'm not sure how to fix that. For when I go and play. Let's see. Guys, I'll be right back. I gotta fix my quality. Alright, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. I got to figure out the quality since I'm switching over to YouTube. I got to figure that out for tomorrow. Yeah, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. More team previews, and depending on the time, I might hop on the game. Maybe start a dynasty and just see where things go. I appreciate you guys watching. Alright, see you guys tomorrow.